Hey, welcome back to JW Aqua. My name is John and we're in my sitting room back at what I call my River Reef Aquarium. It is a Fluval Rio 240. It's a 4 foot. I've been really happy with it. It was the aquarium that got me back into the hobby that my wife bought me back in the summer. And I can't find any fault with it really in terms of what it does. However, there is one little thing that I've been thinking about modifying for quite a long time. You might be able to see in this corner that I'm trying to grow a little bit of pothos and a little sprig of monstera out of the top of the tank. Now, this is a closed top tank, which is perfect for my sitting room. I don't really want a escaper style open tank in here. Don't want to be dealing with that evaporation and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of neat and it contains the light at the top and all that kind of stuff. But it leaves me with this unsightly gap. These panels that are on the Rios are these kind of flexible plastic panels. Now, they're great. They do the job. They come off 2 sections and then there's a metal section in the middle which holds the other 2 in. You can lift them up, do your maintenance, all that kind of stuff. But if I want to grow plants at the top, I have to kind of leave it propped up at the corner, as you just saw. So I've been thinking about modifying these. I've been thinking about drilling a hole out of the back of it. My problem is if it goes wrong and cracks, I'm left with a really naff top to my aquarium. So I've been umming and ahhing about it for a while. Some of you might have been considering something similar, and so I suppose I'm going to give it a go so you don't have to find out whether it works, you just see if it works. What I've done is I've fetched in this old little workbench out of my shed and decided to set up in here. Mainly because Ruth's not here to tell me that's a silly idea and I should go and do this in the garage or in my shed. So I've got a sacrificial bit of board underneath. The important thing is that because I need something to drill into. So this is a really thin piece of plastic. If I don't kind of brace it in some way, it's going to shatter. I've got this hole saw set up on my drill. I've got it clamped down to here. So the plan is just to go for it and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then you'll probably never see this. So yeah, let's give it a go. Important to keep the drill level, and they're biting on the surface. Slower is better, he says. John, patience. And nearly through. That was a really bad idea. Why did I blow that? Now Ruth's gonna know that I did this before I even show her the video. Okay, we are through the plastic because here's the disc that I've cut out. No going back. It doesn't appear to have split. So that has cut that pretty clean. I was expecting I'd have to sand a little bit more, a little run of some light sandpaper around there, and we're going to be good to go. So far, I'm wondering why it's taking me this long to try this. So that is a much neater solution for me growing plants at the top, and I would say it's going to be better for the plants because I'm not kind of catching them every time I'm moving around and kind of squishing stems. There's a couple of times I've broken things off. So while I've got the drill out, I'm thinking I might do the same that end. So, should I quit while I'm ahead? I'm not really that kind of guy, so I'm going to go for hole number 2, and hopefully it's going to come out as well as that one. While I was off camera, I was thinking about the fact that I want to make this look pretty much the same the other side, and it's worked really well. The shape kind of hooks the plant stems in, and then I realised that the piece that I'd cut out is a brilliant little template. So I've measured in from the side how far it was in, and I can place this piece across the edge. I'm going to draw a dot through there with a marker pen, which will show me exactly where I need to put my drill bit to make sure that the piece that I cut out for this side is going to be the same as the other one. Now you might not be able to see the mark. I'm not sure if you can pick it up on the camera because I've done it with a dry wipe pen, but I can see it, and it means I know exactly where to place that drill bit. Clamping those on again to keep it steady, keep it connected. One more just on the end, and then back to drilling. And get that speed right. And through, almost through. By the way, make sure that wherever you are is well ventilated, because there's some plastic fumes coming off this as it's heating up as I'm drilling it. That's not in as well as it should be, but we're almost there. And we're through. And there you can see that looks way neater than it was before. And we're back in the fish room. This here on my desk is a Monstera plant, or a Swiss cheese plant, as you might know it called. We're going to grow it at the top of that second hole that I've drilled in the top of the aquarium cover. The reason that's going to work is down to something called hydroponics. Hydroponics is a way that plants are grown without soil in water that is filled with nutrients. Often they use some kind of medium like perlite or something like that to help it to grow. Then something was developed called aquaponics. Aquaponics uses fish in that cycle. Now you might know about the water cycle as it comes to cycling your aquarium, that we start off with fish waste containing ammonia, which is then broken down by beneficial bacteria into nitrites and then nitrates. Nitrates are a perfect plant food. So this plant hopefully is going to grow really well in the top of my aquarium. It's going to take those nitrates out, remove them from the water, cleaning the water as it goes, and helping me to have a kind of not completely closed but an ecosystem tank where we're getting benefits both ways. Aquaponics doesn't take as much water as traditional farming, so that's why it gets used on big scales, but you know, really it's solving the problem for me that I forget to water houseplants. So I want this growing at the top of my tank, and how am I going to go about doing that? Well, I need to get rid of all the soil that is on the bottom of this plant. So I'm going to take it out on my planting mat here, manually remove a lot of the soil, and then I'm going to wash what's left off the roots. So it's as simple as taking this plant out of its pot. He says as simple as taking it out of the pot because it is in a secondary pot inside and it doesn't really want to come out. So there we go, first pot out, and there's some water just draining out of the bottom that's been held in that other pot. So we're going to try and gently lift this out without breaking the crown of the plant, which on this one is feeling a little bit tricky to do, and I've only got a small tray here, so I'm going to try and do this, laying it down a little, teasing it out without causing stress to the plant and without getting compost and soil all over my desk. So seeing as this is quite well kind of grown into the pot, this might take a little while, so we'll cut to me having this out of the pot. Okay, and there we go. So as you can see, some really good root system on this plant. I'm just going to start to pull away, tease away some of this soil, and actually your aquarium tools can be quite useful here. So I'm going to get my tweezers out, my angled tweezers, and just start pulling away some of this soil, and so we can get at these roots and free them up a little bit, and we can start to get a nice soil-free root ball that's going to be suitable for the aquarium. I think the really important thing is that you get all this soil off. If you let this soil go into your aquarium, then you can have a muddy, kind of mucky mess for a start, but also you're releasing a load of organics into your aquarium, which then are going to have to break down, which then are going to cause ammonia spikes, and you're going to get your chemistry in the tank all out of whack. So this is the process. You don't want to see dirt being removed from a plant for the next 15 minutes, so I'll see you when I'm washing the roots off. I got a little bit carried away and ended up washing it. So there we are, we've got this nice clean root ball. There's kind of like two crowns here actually, so you could divide this up into two plants, but I'm going to try and keep it as one. You can see there are some dark parts there, but that's just where the roots have started to mature and go a little bit woody, so I don't want to scrub too hard and damage the surface of those roots, but that's clean enough to go in my aquarium, so I'm going to take you back through to the sitting room. So we're back here at the tank, and here's the Monstera. Stand it up in that corner. These leaves will turn to face the light anyway. And as I put this top back in, it'll kind of just almost clip around the base of the plant. It's a little bit trickier. I'm trying to do this with the plant on both ends, and I'll probably put some planting wire in just to hold them in exactly the right place. Right, here we are. If I just move that and slip them inside, there we have one perfectly fitting lid on the aquarium, and a Monstera growing out the top. I'm really going to enjoy sitting and looking at that as well as the tank. So if you do have a fixed top tank with plastic panels and you've got the correct tools, the correct kind of plastic hole saws, yeah, it's doable. Definitely an option. If you've got a rimless tank, you can pick up something like this, which is from Superfish. Lots of people do these. Just a little kind of plastic box, clips on the side, gets the roots in, but obviously you wouldn't want to put that big plant in there, but these guys this side, that would do. So yeah, there you go. I wish I'd done this sooner, but you can do it. But remember, if you break it, it's not down to me. So go about, do it properly, set up properly, clip everything in, make sure you follow the steps, do it right, but do understand that anytime you're doing any kind of modification to your aquarium, you've got to take the risk yourself. I think it's a mod that's worth doing. You decide for yourself.